Who's your prepping nurse? That's me, Sally, and it is still dark 30. We're going to make the grits now. This is kind of an autumn or fall. It is great whenever the cool weather hits because it is like a taste of Thanksgiving in your mouth. I created this recipe based on the traditional grits cooking, but instead of using water, I normally use unsweetened vanilla almond milk in it. You can use regular milk. In this case, we're using macadamia milk because I need to use this. It's the stuff that comes in the wax quart size containers. I tend not to store that for long term because I don't think it stores as well as what the canned stuff does. But so we're using that today. I have got 1.5 cups, maybe a little bit more than 1.5 cups of the milk. And this is the same measuring cup that I made my spices in, so you're gonna see some of that in it too. And this is my apple cider. I got the big jar because I am planning on making some apple cider cinnamon jelly, hopefully tomorrow. So let's go ahead and put in right about a cup. Let me see where I can see the measuring. This just gives it such a nice fall flavor. We'll get this started cooking and then I will bring you back whenever it is done. Just throw damp on there. I'm going to turn this on, starting out to kind of a medium-low heat just to heat things up. And pour the apple cider in there. We're going to go ahead and put our spices in there. My original recipe calls for just once, like the cinnamon, the individual. I went ahead and mixed it up. So we're just going to do, for this small of a batch of grits is what we're making. I'm using 1/4 teaspoon. It's almost like a pumpkin pie grits when you get right down to it. And we are going to add in some pumpkin. And this is pureed organic. I actually got this on special. It was $2. It got marked down to 99 cents, and that was at my local Kroger store. This went down right after Thanksgiving. So, you know, go in, take a look, see what they've marked down that hasn't sold for Thanksgiving. And sometimes you can get some really good deals on it. And we're just going to kind of eyeball this. I had originally put in for 2 tablespoons of it, but we are 1 to 2 tablespoons. We're just going to kind of throw this in here. And then I may just take some of this and mix with, or sprinkle with graham crackers. I've got some of the cinnamon graham crackers. And we're going to let this heat up a little bit here just to help mix that pumpkin in. The grits that we're using are from Azure, sorry about that. And I will get those in once it really starts simmering, and then I will bring you back whenever it's done. And we're going to add 1/2 cup of the oats to it. So I store a lot of my stuff, especially for the kitchen use, in these 1/2-gallon ball jars. They seal. I keep the original lids on these. I don't use the plastic lids that you can get. Whoop. Would have been better to do it this way, wouldn't it? Things that we figure out toward the end of our cooking. And grits is actually just ground corn, which you can use this to make cornbread if you want to. When you actually cook it and it becomes smooth, it actually becomes polente. You do want to kind of stir this often. It only takes about 10 minutes for the grits to cook in this. And if you want to make polente, you cook this, you pour it into like a square baking dish, any kind of baking dish, and put it in the refrigerator, let it chill, and then cut it, and that's your polenta. That's the expensive stuff that you're buying at the stores. So I'm going to turn this up here just a little bit. So we'll let that heat up real quick here. Take off my whisk here. So what are you guys having for breakfast? Leave comments. Let me know what your favorite breakfast is. And maybe it would be fun if we can all get together and do a live show on maybe a weekend, a little later, have a brunch together. But I'm going to put you on hold here, and whenever it starts to simmer, then I will bring you back. Okay, the water is starting to really steam and heat up, so I'm going to go ahead and add, which I forgot to tell you, because I usually use vanilla almond milk. This does not have any vanilla in it, so I'm just going to add a little bit for the taste, a little bit of vanilla extract to it. And then I'm going to add the grits, and we are going to start stirring. I'm leaving that up. I've got an electric stove, and I've got it set on the 7 mark, and we'll just see how this goes here. But you want to be sure and stir it pretty often so that it doesn't stick and it doesn't burn. From there. I haven't added any kind of sugars to this, so it is whatever is natural in the macadamia milk, which let's take a look here and see. It is no sugar. So this is actually a very healthy one. The pumpkin is 100% pumpkin, so it's whatever is natural in it. Same thing with the apple cider. It is a natural unfiltered apple cider, and it has got actually 27 grams of sugar in 8 ounces. So that's not too bad, I don't think, for apple cider. It is a juice. So hopefully you're getting some of the health benefits of all this stuff too. So I will bring you back whenever it is done cooking. I brought you back because I wanted you to see this is the grits as it is starting to thicken up. And I did turn it down on my stove. It's like a low medium heat. On the electric stove, I got it set at about 2.5. And it is thickening up really nicely. I've cut my apples. I've cut my walnuts up to the consistency that I like. And my apple is right here. I found this nifty little core. I just fell in love with it. I got it this last year when I was going to can apples. And all you do is just put it on, go straight through, pull it back out, open it up, and there's your core. How easy and simple is that? I just love this thing. So we are going to, whoops, I was a little off center. My fault. Let me get that out of there. But it does make it go so quickly. You just have to pay attention to where you're putting it. So let's just do this here and stir this up. When I worked up on the intensive care unit for about 6 years, I worked 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I would take this in with me to have breakfast around 6:30, 7 o'clock. Sometimes a little after that. It's whenever I could, depending upon what was going on. And I got so many compliments on just the smell of this. And it really does smell good, folks. It smells like home. Just chop this up a little bit. I think that's all I'm going to chop up. I'll just end up eating the rest of it as part of my breakfast. So you cook this to the consistency that you want. I like this a little bit thicker than this, so I'm going to let it cook longer, and I will bring you back whenever it is completely done and we can plate it up.